I was watching you. I just did it live because it's 2 minutes. Taking my chances.
I forgot 2 more credit cards.
I printed it all off. I was like, I'll see her tonight.
Thank you.
How are you?
Good, how about you?
Take it any way we can get it.
Hello.
No, take it any way we can get it. Pretty crazy. I do.
You ready?
Yep.
Careful.
Sorry. Making late.
You can't have that, I've already put down 6 o'clock.
Okay, let's start the meeting with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I did, because I needed to get more.
So I need a motion to approve the agenda, but we do need to move 7.3 and 7.1, flip flop them, so that we're approving things in the right order. So we need a motion to approve the agenda with that change.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Is there any open forum? Thank you, sir. And we'll move on to acknowledgements. Scott and Mary O'Sheet Scholarship. You have something specific you want to touch base, or just read what their name?
You can read what's in there.
Okay.
It's fine.
We'd like to recognize and thank Scott and Mary O'Sheet for sponsoring a scholarship for any senior student attending a state school this coming fall. The scholarship will be awarded to a student or students who are our next generation of innovators, problem solvers, and community leaders. The scholarship will be awarded to students planning a career in engineering, science, or mathematics and STEM. That's a decent sized scholarship.
Yeah. Been talking to Scott and Mary today about it. So everyone knows this, if you pass this on to the students, and we'll do a social media release of this, but it's gonna be called the Wildcat Future Innovator Scholarship. And they'll have it, so it's broken up into two scholarships, two $1,500 scholarships, where the students have to attend a South Dakota State College or potentially a vocational school. Right?
That's a great piece from the community.
Yeah.
Wanted to acknowledge that at least. Any questions, comments? Okay. No conflicts, additional conflicts for this month. So we'll move on to the consent agenda. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion for that.
I'll second.
Veteran. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And we'll move on to item number 6, Black Hills Area Community Foundation. And we have Chris Huber, I believe, here to give us a presentation on his foundation.
Great.
Thanks, Chris.
Tim, did you want to say a few words?
Yeah, just so everyone's aware that Chris has been up to my office and we've had a meeting, plus we met down to the city office. And Chris is here to share, I think, some great opportunities for the Custer School District in regards to what we can do as a school district to help out in the community with some housing issues. Obviously with the new CTE building and the potential for building homes in there. And then he's also got some other great news to share with us with early learners in public education. So welcome, Chris, appreciate it.
Great, thank you, Dr. President. Thank you, members of the school board. My name is Chris Huber. I'm the CEO of the Black Hills Area Community Foundation. If you're not familiar with our organization, we're a 501c3 organization that's serves the 7-county area of the Black Hills. We've been around for about 20 years. We serve our communities by providing grants, providing scholarships, working directly with donors, and then leading on a few key community issues. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. As Dr. Frederick alluded to, we had a conversation a couple of weeks back about the need for more workforce housing in Custer and how the Community Foundation, in partnership with the school district and the city, might be able to come up with one possible solution and help with that. And so the Black Hills Area Community Foundation, we've been working on this issue for a number of years in Rapid City and have seen some really great results. We were fortunate enough to receive some federal funding where we could expand this work all across our 7-county area in the Black Hills. And so that's why we're here tonight in Custer to just talk about the potential for a partnership with the school district. And so what we spoke about at the city meeting a couple of weeks ago was the possibility of working through the CTE program on a building of a workforce house for the city of Custer, where the students working through that CTE program could build a home. They could work with the Black Hills Area Community Foundation in conjunction with the city of Custer to then place that home and then sell that home to a working family that maybe is working in the school district or working for the city of Custer or working somewhere else across Custer at an affordable price, a price that they feel like they can make work for their income. And so to do this, we talked about the possibility of setting up a fund at the Black Hills Area Community Foundation, where we could intake charitable dollars to help with the CTE program. Talking with Dr. Frederick, it sounds like we would have to raise about $75,000. And once we raise that $75,000, that would be enough for material costs for the CTE program to build one single family home. And then we would help the school district place that home and then market it and sell it. And then the school district would recoup their costs plus a little bit for inflation. So it's raising that $75,000 at one time so that the school district and the CTE program can continue that and continue bringing the home online about one per year. This is something that I said we've done in Rapid City, though we haven't worked expressly with the school district, but we've helped bring about 675 affordable housing units online in Rapid City through low interest loans that we've given. This is a little bit different concept, but it's all about creating partnerships with city government, creating partnerships with the school district. And so if it's something that you guys want to work through, the mechanism for this is called a fiscal sponsorship fund. It's what we worked with the city of Custer for the West Dam project. You guys have likely seen some of the information around that and some of the donations there. The city and a small group set up a fiscal sponsorship fund to take in funds for the West Dam project. And then the mayor and I were just talking about how we disperse those funds to pay for the construction that's going on there. And so if it's something you're amenable to doing, we would be happy to set up that same kind of fund for you at the school district. With that, I can take any questions. I think this is still pretty early in the process for us. We, are talking with the city at a possible site, but there's nothing definitive on where this house per year could go. But I think it shows the value of a public-private philanthropic partnership and what we could get done in the city of Custer working together. Yeah.
So looking out into the future, we get a single family into one of these homes that work within our area. 5 years down the road, their plans change.
Yeah.
We have watched our housing market jump substantially.
Yeah.
What happens when they decide to sell that home? Are they only able to market X a little bit to keep that reasonable for the next working family to come in and buy that? Criteria to buy that, which kind of straps them to be able to sell it. Or do the entities that have provided the school and everything else with this, do they get to recoup this to build their program?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and it's something that we talked about at the city meeting as well. What we don't want to happen is somebody buy this at a below market cost, come in and then flip it for $400,000. That's not going to help anybody. So the mechanism for that is called a deed restriction. You can set a deed restriction on the property that says, if it raises above X percent, then the value goes back to the entities and we would have some sort of agreement in place. And so making sure that the community foundation, the city, and the school district in this case were compensated, or that house couldn't sell above a certain threshold for a number of years.
I'm not against anybody bettering themselves by any way or taking advantage of whatever can happen, but I know life can happen, you gotta move out, gotta whatever, or next thing you know, spouse gets the latest, greatest $200,000 job and they're able to move up.
Yeah, same, that's great.
So
Yeah,
exactly, but I don't want to be able to, they use us always for that stepping stone where we can't give back to the next one that needs that house.
Same, yeah. Deed restrictions and covenants are the way you do it to make sure that it stays affordable for the next owner.
Is there a cost to the district to set up the fund?
No cost to the district to set up the fund. We do take a fee on incoming donations, so it's 2% of the donation. And so if somebody donates $100, we get $2 on that. That's I don't know that it covers our administrative costs, but it's something that we see as a good for the community, and so we do this type of work.
And would you envision this fund being, does it come with it saying it's the schools, or would it be the cities, or how would we?
Yeah, I think for this one, for the CTE program, this would certainly be the schools, right? And so it'd be a new fiscal sponsorship agreement with the school for the express purpose of raising funds for the CTE program. And, I think when I talked to Dr. Frederick about it, we have a lot of experience in fundraising. We're not going to make the ask for you, but we can kind of help you along. We can help develop your case for support, it's called. And then it would be on the school district or community members or whoever's tasked with to raise the funds. But when you think about it, you're asking for a one-time $75,000 that creates a revolving revenue source for a CTE program and helps run that program. That's a pretty great case for support. It's not as if you're going to come back every year and ask for another $75,000. It's this one-time money so that you can get the program off the ground, and then it builds in the revenue itself.
And then anything selling that house would go back to that fund, or would that come to?
Yeah,
the
it
school?
could come to the school district, and what we had talked about is, is the cost plus a little bit for inflation, so you could build the next house. It's really important that, Travis, you had alluded to the home prices in Custer, and, you don't want to market this at $400,000 or what the regular home price is. You want to probably hit that 225, 250 range, and so that, you're looking at recouping that $75,000 plus, another $5,000 to rebuild another home. So kind of hitting that sweet spot. It's not going to be a revenue generator. It's not going to, provide the district with a bunch more money, but it will keep that CT program sustainable so it can build that house.
Right. But, and I don't want to take away from the people paying for it either,
Yeah.
to lose their equity either.
Right.
I want to be fair.
Yep.
Do you want us to have a motion, whether we want to start this, or you're not ready for that?
I'm fine with it. I mean, I think that it's something that, I know I'm just new here, but we just built a CTE building, and a large part of that CTE building is for what? That's designed.
Where it was designed to potentially go that direction, yes.
So this is an avenue, honestly, to jumpstart this. I have a lot of confidence in conversations we've had. I appreciate the folks at the city, the mayor, for their willingness to support the program. I think it's going to be a great community program. I think it says a lot about the Custer area when we're doing this. It'll be a great program for our school district and community going forward. So
If we go and start the fund, and for whatever reason we don't get any donations, there's not like a fee to
No,
cancel the fund or?
no, nothing like that. Again, it's $1,000 to set it up, right? Just to initialize the fund, but those are your dollars. You can pull those back out. And then any donations come in, it's just 2% on the donation that comes in. So, yeah.
Well, I'd make the motion that we start, what do we call this, partnership with the Black Hills Area Community Foundation.
I'll second it.
Is that right?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, technical.
I mean, if I worded it right.
Yeah, fiscal sponsorship fund is.
Fiscal
technical-
sponsorship fund, okay.
So I got Travis with the motion and Heath with the second. Is there any discussion? Any questions, concerns? Mr. Huber or the city? I don't know about the offer to say anything, but he's here if we have questions.
The questions I'll answer.
Yeah.
We're excited to be partners too in this, so.
So, do we still got discussion?
Yep.
Okay. What about land and utilities and house moving and all of that? Who covers that cost?
Yeah, so that's where the partnership on the other two ends comes through. So we have some funding to acquire land that we could work possibly through the city of Custer. We're talking about a property there. If not, there could be a couple other properties we're looking at as well, where we would acquire the land or and then work with the city to put in utilities. What we expect or what we would hope from the school district is, the one building a year. Right, and so get the house built, be able to, help get it there, and then, we would work on, with the contractor on creating a foundation, getting in place, getting it tied in, and all of the other stuff. And so it's really the construction that we see as a partnership.
So you guys take care of all of that, we do not.
Yeah, you want to take care of it, yeah, your role would be building them.
I do
And
want,
obviously you're reimbursed for that.
Yeah,
In sale.
yeah, through
And
the
sale.
Right.
Okay.
and because this is truly about, the housing, but it's also about the CTE programs, and this is where that partnership is going to really develop with different industries in our community, because our kids can be on site, whether it be electrical or HVAC, whatever it might be. That's gonna be a great learning opportunity for our kids going forward and helping the workforce in our community.
Yeah, Dr. Frederick, this is what is so exciting about, building this case for support. You're creating workforce housing while building the workforce that creates more workforce housing. It's just like this force multiplier and a great community partnership that I think makes a lot of sense here.
I think once we get, there's already been groups that have talked about coming in and help, donating some of that, the technical stuff. I know at that meeting we've done, like for the HVAC, donating all that we do, so it helps put it forward.
Through the fiscal sponsorship fund, if you were to do an in-kind donation, you could put it out a lot, then you could get a tax receipt from us.
I just get nervous sometimes when everybody comes to do something here and they want taxpayer, us, to keep footing the bill to build something, and then maybe it doesn't follow through, something happens, whatever, and just trying to be fiscally responsible with taxpayers' dollar. So,
And then we're not 100% stuck on a building a year, because we've never done it, so we don't know how long it's gonna
Right,
take.
yeah, that was
But
rough
that-
timeline.
Because I think Jared mentioned 18 months
Yeah.
to start with, just because we didn't know.
Right, I was at that meeting with them, that Jared said, first, we're gonna have a little
Yeah.
learning curve.
Yeah. And what we're talking about with the city would be, part of a larger project, right? Where you might be 6 or 7 lots, and it's not as if we would save all of those lots for the school district, that could be a number of years, right? We develop some housing through other partnerships that say that could cover lots for the school district.
I have one question, this is for the school district countywide, right? Say 2 years from now, you were into something with remotes or something, we could take one of them houses.
Absolutely.
but our school districts are school districts.
Right.
Yeah, I totally understand.
That's
If that's, an avenue we want to pursue in the future, I think that makes perfect sense. For right now, it's developing proof of concept, right? And making sure that it works, making sure that the CT program can build a house on a timeline of 18 months, and then we can get it on the foundation, and then we can turn that money around back to you guys. We can do another one, just kind of continue chipping away at one house at a time. But we serve the 7-county area. For most of that, it's absolutely in our future.
This isn't federal money.
No, this is not federal money. Yeah, this would be charitable dollars from you guys for the program. We've got some dollars from a private foundation to do what is called land banking, purchase land for the creation of housing in the future.
So we, the city, have looked into different housing options and whatever. And anytime you use federal funding, a percentage of the homes you build have got to go to no income. And then you start straying from what your goal is. And with this, we don't have that issue. We build 4 homes, we don't need 3 of them with 0 income. We can build 4 homes for working class. That's what's nice. That's why we're jumping on board with it.
Bob, you have ground, you say designated, kind of set aside that you think's gonna work?
Yes, so there's a house, I don't know if you noticed in the field there in front of the school, they got built out in the middle, started to. There was no access to that in city law, or the city ordinance states that we have to have access to the city lot. So we ended up buying the Shabinsky, whatever their name was, lot there along the creek so that we could get access to it. In turn, there's space for about 6 lots there to build on. And then the city just did a land swap with Ron Bradeen. So that end lot, the eastmost lot of his trailer court, you can do a duplex or something on that too. So we have a stretch right there, and we have water and sewer that come right through there.
Right, okay, so now, what my next guess would be, how far up out of the floodplain are we?
It's out.
Like, out from me to you, Heath, or out from me to Montgomery Street?
I don't know that.
The houses, well, the creek goes like this, so,
Oh, I
and
know.
they changed the whole floodplain. You're in the 500-year floodplain, right there.
I've seen it almost get wet 2 times in a row.
I know,
Okay, but I mean, the next thing
and
that
that's something you,
ties our hands, I'm just curious, Bob, kind of knowing the area.
yeah,
Okay, all right.
Thank you. Any other discussion, questions? Okay, with the motion and a second on the table, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. So we'll have Dr. Frederick get with you and Bob and whoever he decides needs to be part of that.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you very much
Thank you.
for letting us, for coming and
Yeah,
presenting.
I have a completely different thing to present to you guys too.
Oh, yeah.
You
Okay.
did all your work. I think.
Yeah. Do you want to tee this one up too, Dr.
Go ahead.
All right, jump right in. So after our meeting on housing, I pulled some of the district folks aside and talked about another opportunity that we have. So as I said, at Community Foundation, we work in a number of different areas. One of the areas we're starting to look at is economic ability, right? So building up kind of your station in life and getting the next generation better than the previous generation. And so one of the ways that we're going to start to work on this is through what's called a 529 program, a college savings account program. If you guys aren't familiar with college savings accounts, they're a great investment tool. You put money aside, it grows tax-free, and then it can only be used for educational purposes in the future. And so we're doing a lot of research about how we get low to moderate income families, how do we get more of them into post-secondary education, either four-year traditional college, tech school, or apprenticeship. How do we get more of those kids into post-secondary education so they can be more economically mobile in the future? And 529s turns out to be a great way to do that. And so there's a lot of research out there that says if you donate a 529 account of $500 to a low to moderate income child, they're 3 times more likely to go to post-secondary education, and they're 4 times more likely to go to graduate from that post-secondary education. So we received a $20,000 grant to pilot a 529 program where we would give $500 accounts to children on free and reduced lunch. And we want to pilot it here in Custer. This is where the donor is from, has a connection to, and really love the idea. And so the idea would be that we would work with the school district to help identify the families in kindergarten and first grade on free and reduced lunch, and then offer them a 529, a $500 529 that they could only use once that child graduates from high school and then furthers their education. And so the way this would work, and again, this is a pilot project for us, but we would be the owner of the 529 and be designated for that specific individual, for that specific kid. So if that kid never went on to post-secondary education, or they moved out of state and completely forgot about it, those dollars wouldn't be lost, they would just recycle back into the program. But let's say that kid does go on to graduate from high school and wants to go to WUT. that account will be waiting for them. It will have grown from the $500, and then they can use it for their tuition, their books, or their educational expenses. This is unique in that with all of the studies around this kind of work signify that it's not really about the $500. It's about shifting the mindset for families that their kids are post-secondary bound from an early age. It's really about that hope that that creates. And so, you know, the $500 will grow, but, you know, it might be $1,000, $1,200 by the time they graduate. Not enough to go to college, but it tells that family, somebody's investing in my kid, and I should invest in my kid's education too. And so talked to Dr. Frederick about this, and really what we need from the district is just some cooperation to help get the paperwork out to the right families so that we can get them signed up and get these accounts distributed to them so that they're aware that now there's a $500 account in the name of their child moving forward.
Okay, so when you're looking at that, you said 20,000 in there to start with, or that's what's been allocated, kind of? Are you looking to give all 20,000 out at one time, or we allocated 20,000 a year, or is it a one-time fee?
Yeah, one-time thing to pilot it, yep, and then we, you know, just running the numbers from Dr. Frederick, we were to raise $10,000 a year, we could do it with every class, every kindergarten class, roughly $10,000.
But that's what I was asking, how are we going to
Yeah,
maybe try to keep this perpetual going on down the line?
yeah, again, this is just a great place for support, $10,000 for what is, you know, 3 times more likely for, you know, 20 kids to go to college is a pretty great investment. And so, you know, I've already had a conversation with a couple of donors in town, and I think we get to $10,000 annually pretty easily. So this, again, it's a pilot project. We want to start it with kindergarten and first grade students in Custer and Hermosa that are on free reduced lunch. We'd love to start it this spring if it's possible, where we work with the school district and they would provide the policy documents and then the account sign up that the families would need to sign to accept that $500 account for their kid.
Would you guys draw up all of the policy documents, the term, the language?
Yep, all of that would be drawn up by the Community Foundation. Actually, our February board meeting, we're going to vote on it. You know, it stipulates things like, you know, 529s can be used for a broad range of things. We want to make sure that this 529 is used for post-secondary education, or making sure that it's not used for private school and not used for other expenses. Again, the ownership of the fund is with the Black Hills Area Community Foundation, so they couldn't draw on it unless it was for a post-secondary expense. So we have the ultimate sign-off to say, yes, send the money for this purpose.
Then another 2%.
No, we're not taking a fee on this at all, because this is a pilot project. We just want to see this go. We want to help as many kids as possible. So, yeah, we're not taking a fee on this $10,000 at all.
So the only thing that the school has to do on this is just help you decide where.
Yeah, a little bit of staff time, help us think about it. I think it's, you know, I think there's going to be, trying to get the word out to parents that this is coming in the mail and this is reputable and you know, this is something that we see as a good opportunity for families to take advantage of. There's, you know, it's a $500 scholarship for their kid and growing.
Sure.
Now, if we have parents that don't fall into the free and reduced, but see it as a good benefit, is there a way that they could also work with you to get a scholarship fund if they don't have any other venues?
Absolutely. So we're actually going to use a third-party investment provider that does these kind of big accounts like this with multiple beneficiaries. And so we can get them information on the My 529 program. That's who we're going to utilize through. But there are 529 programs, you know, dozens all across the country, and you know, happy to help talk them through the values of that. Yeah. And the free and reduced lunch is a good income threshold for us to get the most bang for the buck, you know, making sure that low income families are the ones that could be benefiting from this in the future.
Do we need a motion to accept this, or how do we?
Yeah, I think it'd be good to have a motion to accept moving forward with working with Black Hills Community Area Foundation and establishing a 529 college savings account or savings program.
Yeah, partnership for the, yeah. 529 program.
I want to just mention that, being in education for well over 30 years, I hope everybody in this room appreciates, first of all, and realizes how big this program is. Very appreciative of it. This is a program that could potentially change lives. We've all heard about generational poverty before in this room full of educators. And these are the type of programs that can change that pattern for our families. So I think it's something that we need to go to work on, develop that partnership, and just see how big we can grow this program. So again, I appreciate you coming out here and sharing this great news with this group.
Thank you.
And picking Custer School District.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just so happy with all the partnerships we have in Custer. You guys are a great community, and we want to help you where it makes the most sense. And this is an area that makes a lot of sense.
Awesome, thank you very much. So, need a motion to approve a partnership with Black Hills Area Community Foundation to start 529's scholarship. College partnership.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Sarah. Any other discussion, questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you again.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. And we'll move on to 7.3 for the committee report. Finance. Facilities and Transportation Committee.
I know who you're talking about.
I didn't, obviously.
So we held our facilities meeting today. The last one we'll have, that we have every month, maybe a little bit, we'll see. But our CT building, well, I'll talk about that first. We got our final change order on our CT building, which is the monies back from our contingency fund. We looked that over. Once we're done with that, we suggest approving that. It's a deduction of $71,282. That's what we had left in our contingency fund. The building it's got the CO on it, and we're in it. Everything's pretty much complete. I'd be a thing or two here, there, we don't see yet, but so far so good. Gold West, they were in there. They got their stuff completed in there. We don't have a bill on that or anything yet, so we don't know anything. But we know that they're done. We got internet out there, so that's a good thing. But we have well, I can talk about that in a little bit. We also received the final payout right before this meeting, so we have that also to approve tonight. In our facilities meeting, we talked about all the wind damaged items out there. Kevin's working through it, we got some things here and there, some roofs that we're looking at, some just like the thing up the CT building blowing up. It's probably not all gonna add up to having to pull an insurance claim on it, because it ain't gonna cover, it's gonna be less than what our premium would be, more than likely. So once we get all the numbers together, we'll look at it from there. We talked about the water event a little bit in most of it. Kevin's happy with the way it all cleaned up, the way it all dried out. You don't see any further issues with it right now of having to replace stuff or anything like that. He was over there, checked all the equipment, checked the drawers, the doors, everything, and everything looks like it came together pretty good. So that's That's great news. We also talked about alarm system notifications a little bit, how that all works. Who all gets notified when there is an alarm or a trouble or anything like that. Tim and Kevin are gonna kind of work through that, make sure that the right people are all getting them notifications and not people that worked here 10 years ago or something, still getting that notification.
Can't imagine that happening.
Yeah. We did talk about some key card stuff on all these buildings, how we're gonna go about maybe integrating everything together. That's something to still to talk about a little bit, trying to make things simpler for everybody. Well, that's a down the road kind of thing, but right now, Kevin's working through it. And then also in our thing, we talked about some of our busing options. There's some ideas out there. We are just kind of basically just starting talking about it. We want to make sure that we know all of our options in case something happened to spring up on us and we know which direction, or not know which direction, but we have educated guesses on which direction we should be going in. And, you know, we're just getting some people talking to us and different companies, including the one we've got now, you know, and just some different options, just so we are educated if something ever does happen, or if we need to do something different. That was about all we had in our facility meeting, but in that, we did look over that change order and we suggest we approve it. It's like,
Okay. So we'll move to the 7.2, which is the pay.
We want to approve, we
we
need to go back up to
approve
1.
that one first.
We're down to 3, so that's next.
I know, but this one we have to be approved before we do anything.
Okay. We'll do the
Change.
change order.
Yeah.
So
Make the motion to approve the change order.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Now we'll go to the Dean Kurt's pay, and you guys discussed that and agree that that should also get approved, correct?
We went through it, it's in line with that, taking off the contingency, all that, so everything looks good. It comes out to our last check on it'll be $94,125.93.
I'll make a motion to accept the pay,
I'll second it.
final payment. Big black bold letter stating 6-year warranty behind that.
Including wind damage.
Yeah.
Any discussion, questions? Thank you, Heath, for the research on that.
Yeah.
It
Thank
sure
you.
makes these meetings a lot faster and more educated. No discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
You guys have anything you
Sure.
want to talk about on it?
No, I don't think so. I think we
Just-
got, dust collection, dust collection connections that are gonna be installed Wednesday.
Okay.
And we got some of that, where that shroud blew off of that hood. We got some repair work on the roof we're gonna do Wednesday as well. But I think we'll kind of wrap it up. I mean, we've got a 1-year warranty, so Kevin's not shy. He'll call.
Are we done with the remodel also?
What's that?
Are we done with the remodel also?
100%.
Just can't get out of here quick enough, can you?
No, I'm ready to build a gym and an admin building.
I thought you were retired.
Well, get this going first, and I won't.
You got 11 months to decide that.
11 months.
No, it's been a great job. Turned out nice. You guys should be proud of that facility.
Great facility, thank you.
Yeah, thank
You
you.
walk through there and the kids just, well, you can just see it. So, turned out really nice.
Yeah, you guys did a great job.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
Again.
appreciate your confidence in being encouraged to for the second time.
And on behalf of the design team, Architecture Incorporated, thank you for allowing us to be part of it. We're really thrilled to see how your potential partnership is already shaping up to use the facility to its utmost. And would ask you to keep the design team in mind when you start to formulate your donation list. We'd be thrilled to be some of the first people to have an opportunity to contribute.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna call you.
You weren't looking at me.
Can you imagine, Steve?
No, I really appreciate it. Thank you for.
Okay, it's been a pleasure working with you guys.
Thank you, seriously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a lot easier when I got trust in you.
Vice versa.
Okay,
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We'll move on to business and finance.
How about 7-2?
That I just did.
Oh, that,
Let them guys,
gotcha. Okay. I'm on,
I didn't name it.
gotcha.
We're gonna go on to business and finance, 8.1, monthly cash flow report. Sarah, Amy?
Yes, the monthly cash flow, everything is back in the positive again after the tax payments came in, with the exception of the preschool fund, which we did anticipate. Hermosa does have a grant for $12,000 that we will be putting back into the preschool fund to cover salary costs. It just hasn't raised, they haven't spent enough money to pay for that $10,000 yet, so I'll be doing that fairly soon, so you'll see that number fluctuate a little bit again before the end of the year. I did make a change on the budget to actual spending. I added a couple, increased the budget for the maintenance. It is reflective of what our true budget was, but I did not have the CTE utilities included in there until this. So you do see a different number than you saw last month, but this is a more accurate reflection of what is really being spent. We did make most of our debt payments, so you'll see that debt is almost finished up. We will have one more small payment at the end of the year, and we do our copier leases are considered debt as well, which is why that's not zeroed out. We're gonna have, what was that?
I just have a question on
Sure.
that here. And maybe it's just because I don't know how to read this, but you're talking about on your budget, your actual spending
Yep.
sheet?
Yep.
Because it says on there, under the total capital outlay, it says what the budget was, and the total spend, that total spend don't add up to that 57 or 5.7 million. What, I guess maybe I don't, all the numbers don't come, that's like half of 5.7 million.
The way it's supposed to work is that
the.
that 5.7, you're supposed to be able to add that to the 2.1 and come back over to that 7. I'll check my math on that. There's a chance that I was doing 3 things at once and that's not accurate, so I'll double check my math on that.
Oh, I see.
It doesn't come to 5.7. I was looking for that last night. It's like 2.5.
Oh, every piece, there are some things that are not included.
Okay,
In this, you'll see that in the general fund too.
Okay.
There are little bits and pieces that are not included
okay. I
in there
was
that are just weird little outlier sections. I just have put the big ones. You are right.
I
Those
just didn't
numbers
know,
don't
I
add
don't
up.
think I did
You are
not read it, so I was just asking.
Yeah, I thought it would be much more confusing if I had a miscellaneous other expenses, so I didn't include that. I was just doing the big target ones. And if we want to change that going forward, I'll be
Nope,
happy to
that's
tailor
fine.
it
I just.
a little bit better. But yes, you're correct. That does not add to that. The auditors, just a reminder, will be here in February when we have our meeting in Hermosa to do their presentation to us. I was hoping that we would have the audit paper copies by now, but we do not have it. They're still working. They did find one more little change that we had to make with funding that we received for food service. So they're going to tidy that up for us, and then I'll have everything ready to report in February. And Terry and I are going to attend the federal lands planning meetings at the end of February. That's where the federal lands group gets together and we figure out the messaging that we share for everybody else nationwide to talk to the congressional representatives when we visit in March. So they're very important planning meetings. So Terry and I are going to attend those at the end of January.
Okay, anything to add, Terry?
Nope.
Any questions from the board? Comments from admin? Okay. Move on to 8.2, school board election. We have-
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Nothing really to update, except just a reminder that February 2nd, nominating petitions will be available in our office. There are 3 seats available. Larry Baker's, Sarah Barracks, and Travis Hartshorn's. They're 3-year terms. And if you want to pick up a petition to circulate, that would be February 2nd in our office, and they will be available during our specific office hours and ending on March 24th at 5 p.m.
Any questions? So, just gotta get people to fill out their forms.
Another sucker.
Sarah, Larry,
No, we like our three suckers we still have. Just kidding.
Somebody needs a campaign manager on that.
do we?
You're it.
We don't need to approve this again, do we?
No, it's just informational.
Just information. That's what I thought. Any questions, comments? Move on to 8.3. Need to discuss and approve a quick claim deed right away on old school property.
Okay, did everybody take a look at the document that was sent? There was 3 documents part of this request to approve. The city folks let me know about this, it's been a couple weeks ago. But what it is, it's the old school land, which is kind of like right over here, I believe. But there's a little area right away, as you can see from that drawing, that was not part of the original quit claim deed. And this city is asking us to approve that little area as well.
So that little area, what was that plan? Was that planned for a street, an alley? What was that planned for originally?
Well, what I can tell you it is right now, I can't tell you what it was originally for, but what it is right now, there's a piece of playground equipment that's partially there, and then now there's like and that slopes down. I'm going by, if you look at,
Yep.
you can't see it in this picture, but right here,
Yep,
it's continues,
right.
so.
But I mean, that's why I was wondering, did they ever? It looks like in the day, it was an alley.
It was an
And
alley.
Right across the street is the alley.
That's what I thought. Okay, so that's why I was asking. Did the city, is it really truly the school's property? Or did the city truly vacate their own right of way at one given time? Or did we just overtake it? Don't know.
Lori said that it belongs to the school right now.
Okay. I mean,
Right.
I'm just making sure that back in the day, if it ever got vacated and it was an alleyway, that it truly got vacated. That we don't turn around and sign something back over the city that was never really vacated.
Right.
So, okay. Just wanna make sure.
I think this is beside that alley. It's in between our fence and the alley.
Or the private drive now.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
The picture they drew, it doesn't make sense with
No.
with the little square at the top. Who
Yeah.
owns that?
I don't know.
We're gonna be doing this in 4 months?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it looks to me like you've got a setback for a city utility right there to a property line.
Well, if you look, the line of the old school property lines up with them lots there. I think that, I don't know that, if that is city-owned already. Along that street,
Purple, right, on there?
yeah, that purple line over them lot lines line up and with the yellow line, but I don't know if, that stuff along the streets already city-owned, if it's part of the street, it's just right away,
Might be a hydrant there.
I don't know.
I drive by it every day and think I know, but I don't.
Right. Me too.
So I guess we just need to approve the additional section in the quitclaim deed on any land that we have any plans to use.
We're not gonna be in violation of anything if it ends up coming back around.
It says it's east half of Fourth. It says that brown strip right
Well, that's not right in front of the pool.
No, on the other side,
Other side,
it's over here.
Northeast corner.
between our fence and that.
Right there,
Right there, yeah.
that piece, right?
Yeah, there's that playground equipment that he was
Right.
talking. Yeah, it's that little, it's 28 feet wide.
Okay, so I guess. All right.
Of course, Bob had to leave early.
Hmm?
Said Bob had to leave too early.
But nobody ever produced a regular plat map on this. That you know of,
What's that?
nobody ever produced a plat map. Do you?
No, not that.
So if you look at Beacon, kind of jogs in and then goes right along that alley.
Oh, yeah, that's what the, used to look like. And this used to be all school property.
Right.
So for some reason, this wasn't involved.
Just this tiny little sliver.
Just that tiny little sliver wasn't
Okay.
added in their
Okay.
description.
Okay,
That's all it comes down to. is when
okay,
they
gotcha.
did that, they didn't add that.
That makes more sense.
Right.
Okay, I understand now. Had to go to a regular map now. Okay,
So we need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Concerns? All in favor, say aye.
Okay.
All opposed, same sign. We'll move on to policies and procedures. Discussion of policies related to fundraising. We got two policies.
Right. So I sent an email out, I think to everybody earlier last week or whatever it was, and then also just talking a little bit, with Sarah and Travis, and also with the business managers, but in looking at the two policies that we have up for review right now, I'm not comfortable with us as a committee going in and bringing a first draft forward until we, I guess, answer some of the questions that have been brought forward, honestly, within the last month and a half. So one of the things coming into a position like this, and even the conversation that we had here earlier with developing a foundation, the one thing that we're all going to work through in K-12 public education right now is you're going to see more and more foundations such as what Black Hills community area can bring forward, but also potential like a 501(c) for our school district. And I think it's important that we, as a school board, that we work through, we have a very clear understanding where everything's going to fall into play. So working with the business managers, and then just also trying to look at some of the questions that have been asked of us throughout this year on fundraising, we want to make sure that everyone in this room understands there's three different types of funds that we're looking at. And I think you could also, understand that external funds, you guys all have this pulled up, by the way. Yeah, or my sheet I sent you, perfect. So the district funds are funds that are generated, through basically this state funding formula. So We have that as district funds. I think we do a pretty good job of working through that. But then you also have what we call our custodial funds. Custodial funds are funds that are a little bit, like it says, are program extras that we try to utilize. It can be from National Honor Society to Student Council to whatever. But then you also have what we want to call external funds. So external funds could be like your booster club, your PTO. It could honestly fall and play with any type of 501(c) at some point in time. But what we have to work through as a board is understanding, first of all, let's build our knowledge, understand where these revenues are coming in from, and making sure that we're following processes that you guys as a board agree to. And once we understand that for the revenue sources for all three of them, then we also have to look at, what are we expending this money on? I don't think that, any of us in here want to just raise funds and then have it spent, and then you guys as board members get asked the question, what is this money being spent on? You're like this, right?
Yep.
So just as we heard from Chris, with a foundation, it has to be very specific. So as we go through this document, this is just guidance for us, we need to have a conversation on, where do we want to have bylaws? Where do we want to have specific guidance? What do those bylaws look like? What does that guidance look like? But then under that, we have to make sure that we are looking for each one of these different categories, district funds, custodial funds, external funds, is from bylaws and guidance, what are we going to really allow this to be spent on from the ground up? What is the purpose of each one of these organizations, whether they're in district funds, custodial funds, external funds? So with that being said, this is just a document for you to look at. As I said, I worked with the business managers on this. Most of this information that you see as far as where the money, what it's used for, you can see that. We have a lot of things that are questions. Here's an example. Skylar here today? No. But here's an example like today, was brought to my attention. It's like on our kids and they're traveling. Like boys basketball, wrestling, girls basketball, whatever it might be. A lot of school districts across the state will say, yep, the school will cover the cost of the transportation. And if it's an overnight stay, lodging. If we make it to a state event, they'll pay for the per diem for the kids and the coaches, right? How has that been processed here in Custer?
Don't know.
No idea.
But you should know, right? We all should know that. And that's one of the things that Skylar and I are talking about. It sounds like, there's different things that have happened over the years. And that's an example of why we want to make sure that we understand the processes before we sign off on a policy, because those policies should actually be something you work from in your decision making. So with that being said, I just want to, kind of open it up for questions, comments, and it's something that Sarah and Travis and myself can work on as we establish or get our dates for our policy meetings. So.
I think it's a great discussion, and it would be really nice to have an idea of where all this stuff is coming from and going to, or have a place to look when you get asked. Because, like you said right now, you get asked the question, I don't know.
So I guess, with that being said, external funds, that never sees the school district per se. You guys don't manage that, correct?
We don't manage it, no.
But it doesn't come here either, and we're not the gatekeepers of it. I mean, that literally is still the booster club's responsibility and stuff like that with PTAs and all of that, correct?
Correct. Now, but one of the things, okay, so like with the external funds, what you're talking about, there's no commingling of the funds, right?
Right, okay.
Okay, so with the custodian funds, we are keeping it, but there's still, it doesn't commingle, to the general fund.
Right.
But one of the things we have to make sure we're careful of, just like when you guys talked to me about grants at the beginning of the year, you guys want to all know like what grants we're applying for, because you have to be able to sustain the cost of those grants. Well, you can accept a donation, external fund, right? But what's the upkeep potential? So it's the same thing. You still need to, even though it's coming in as a donation, you still should accept it. In my opinion, you should still accept it and then understand what comes with that donation.
And I think a bigger piece of that is that the community views those things as attached to the school, even though it's coming from an outside place, so the school is still represented in all of those things.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Because when they donated the money, it was for the school.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Understanding what we're currently doing and is key to be able to make a good policy. for that.
So what's a lot of the concerns, I guess, that's being brought up besides your one example?
I think the biggest concerns my biggest concern is that we're all following the same processes. One of the things I think it's mentioned in one of these documents, or maybe it's something that was my documents, but the other thing you have to be careful of is Title IX issues, compliance issues. As a school district, even though, you might have one group say, we're gonna donate money for the boys, whatever it might be, you have to understand that there needs to be a balance between what goes to one group to potentially to other groups. That's an example. But the other thing is approval processes. If we don't have any guidance with it, like Skylar's situation talking to me today about, we're always guessing. So this is, really a way for us to make decisions from scheduling basketball games, wrestling, whatever it might be. It could be fine arts, traveling. How much are we going to travel? I don't want our parents to have a burden of having to pay for their kids' overnight trips and meals, and if they're traveling or going to 3 or 4 different overnight activities throughout the school year. So those are the type of things that we're going to be looking at with it.
I think there's an issue of transparency also. If people from the community are donating $500 to a sport and they're thinking that it's going to buy uniforms and the uniforms only cost $250, then where does the rest of that money go? What happens to it? We've had all these very, very generous donations, and then the thing that they've been donating to is way less than that amount of money.
Right.
So then what? So that would be nice to clean some of that up also.
Well, I know the VFW is very good at donating money, and some of the coaches are like, well, put it in this fund or put it in that fund, or well, I didn't, I just, that's whatever you want to do. But yeah, that makes sense.
I think one of the things is that we are very appreciative, and I want to make sure that is clear. The school district should be very appreciative of all of the great people in this community that give. But in that process of giving, we need to do a great job, a better job of making sure that people know where that money's going. We need to deliver that message to them. And I know some of you have been questioned on that, and we want to make sure that you guys have the answers. So.
Right.
So there's no policy as of yet, because we're still in
Yeah.
progress, but good information to read and understand.
And I ask board members to please, if you have thoughts on this, please share with Sarah, Travis, or myself, so as when we meet, we can try to take all that input and put it into policy.
Sure.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Comments? Okay. Move on to curriculum and instruction. 10.1, we have an early graduation request, number 1. We just need to, the information is in the admin content, and we just need to have a motion to approve early graduation.
Just as a reminder to everyone, because this is a student issue, there's no names stated with this motion.
So number 1.
So now we would ask you to approve it. It's a little late and we apologize for that, but things worked out and I think it's in the best interest of the students. So,
What is the deadline? I thought it was February.
I think it's actually 3 months prior to
Yeah.
the request.
Seems like we do a lot of them in December and January in the past.
Doesn't mean that that's not what we're supposed to do.
No, I know,
This is what we have.
that just seems, I mean, that's kind of been what we've been.
Okay. So there's a motion to approve early graduation request number 1.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you, Corey.
Sure.
Any discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Move on to 10.2, district literacy update and professional development.
Okay, I think you guys can, obviously, you read the report, you kind of know where we're at, but just real quick here with this. Doris, Ann, are you ready for your presentation? Okay, so real quick, that's your warning, you're on 1 minute. What I'd like to say is that the principals and myself, I should say the administrative team met. We're excited to be moving forward right now with strategic planning with the teachers will be happening this coming Friday morning. We'll be here in Custer, then we're going to go over to Hermosa to get that taken care of. I also want to let everybody know with the literacy curriculum development, the principals are working with the development of their pilot programs. And I think that we probably are pretty close to having our last meeting with Compass with that contract. I feel good that we'll probably have maybe one more bill dealing with that. And our people have done a great job of moving that forward. So I believe we will be able to bring a recommendation to the table early on this spring with a curriculum recommendation for ELA. So, all right.
I can go ahead and start with the handouts that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for letting me come talk to you today. I'm glad I got to be here and hear about that 529. It's going to be hard to put a smile on. That they want to invest in us like that. Anyways, Exhibit A. So we're just talking about first pre-ACT results from last year. Last year's the first year we offered the pre-ACT to 9th and 10th graders. And we get to look at that data and analyze it, and it helps us figure out how to better prepare our students for the ACT, which is now the state test for 11th graders. It's taken the place of the Smarter Balance for 11th graders. This will be our first year that it's our state test. So that's going to be what our school's graded on for high school. So the first little spreadsheet says Exhibit A. The top, it tells you can see the grades are 9th, 10th, and 11th, the different rows there. The blue part that says BM, that stands for benchmark. It doesn't stand for what it does in your normal library. So anyways, those are the benchmarks, and it shows what percent we have meeting the benchmarks in the different subjects. And down below, it shows how many are on target and close to target and need intervention. And when we went to training, Clay and I, back in the fall, they told us to try to focus on those that are close to target. They're within a couple of points. They're on the bubble, and try to focus on the skills that they need. And that'll kind of bring, everybody up along with it. So, so we are looking at that data and trying to figure it out. I've had a meeting, I've only met with the Science PLC so far, but hope to meet with the ELA and Math PLC that are in service on Friday. So, hold on, sorry. Okay, so that's the one we looked at first. This next one, when the teachers get this, the blacked out part, they'll have the names of the students, but I didn't want to put that here, but they can see the names of the individual students and how they did. This is broken down by tiers, so all these in purple, which we have, a majority of our students are in purple, those are the ones in science that met the benchmark. The ones in blue are the ones who are approaching the benchmark, and the ones in yellow are the ones who need intervention. This tells the skills up here, breakdown of the skills like interpretation of data, scientific investigation, and then evaluation of models. So it tells us what we're kind of doing well in and what we're needing to work on. And this one is that even our kids who we're meeting the benchmark stuff, don't do so well in those scientific investigation. That tells us we can tell by looking at the questions they missed and what answers they chose, that they're really not getting like independent variables and dependent variables and how they align with the x-axis and y-axis, the leftmost columns, the rightmost columns. They're not really understanding what's going on in the experiments as far as what they're changing and what they're measuring. So we're going to work on having more practice doing that kind of stuff. But this, we also we can break it down and see exactly how many students got each question right, like what percentage of our students. And that will help us identify things to work on too. Like if you look at the red line, that's item number 5 on the test, and the correct answer was A. Only 27% of our kids chose that, and 49%, almost half, chose C or H. And we look at the test, and we can see they're getting pH mixed up. They're not understanding that a lower pH means it's more acidic, and a higher pH means it's more basic. And that's something that when you don't look at it often, you forget that. So we'll know to hit on that before the test and just make sure they know some of those skills. But like I said, mostly in the science, it's more of that understanding what's going on in an experiment and what we're keeping constant and what we're changing and what we're measuring. So we're going to the science teachers are really wanting to hit on that and like have some practice, just some practice passages leading up to the ACT. They are broken down. The teachers have access to all this stuff, but we did break it down. Tiles is just in the science. There's not a lot of, the purple is ones where 75% of our kids or more got that right, and the red is where 25% or less got it right. So that identifies our strengths and weaknesses. There's a lot more red on the math than on the science, because we kind of struggle more in the math area than some of the others. So basically, that's some of the information that the teachers can use and that we can use to identify what we need to work on. Now, I wanted to show you some more resources we're going to use to help our kids improve. We have a new library webpage, and Josie Weekly made this cool little logo for us, and I appreciate her, and she helped me fine-tune the website. But there's a section here called ACT Prep, and I'm going to start with this resources for teachers. And if you go there, I couldn't put this information, even though this page is password protected, I couldn't put the information with the names of the students on the website. So it just tells them how to go to the district commons and access that stuff that has, names attached to it. So they can go there and get all, we have it not just for science, but for math, for ELA, for everyone, all these results. I have loads and loads of tests for them, previously released ACT tests that they can take passages from and practice questions from. We have, like under the math section, when you're here, there's math resources. Math has the most, ELA has second most, and science has the least. But under the math resources, there's all kinds of things they can practice by topic, like if they're working on exponents, there's practice by that. There's ACT, a lot of those ACT tests that are on there, since math's what we struggle in, I've worked out the math section and put it on there so that if they use those questions, they can see how the quickest way that they should have worked it out and stuff. And there's also just bell ringers, those are just photos they can throw up at the beginning of class just to get practice on how ACT asks questions. So that's, some of the resources for, I also put all my PowerPoints that I use when I teach ACT prep, so if they want to use those, they can go in there and use those. So why does it matter is, here, that's something I'm excited about, having all this information in one place. But it starts out here with the Board of Regents scholarships, up of those first two. Those are ones like the first one, if you get to 24, you automatically get $7,500 over the course of 4 years if you go to a state school in South Dakota. Dakota Core scholarships for certain critical needs fields, lots of teaching fields, nursing fields, things like that, some engineering. If you get a 27 or higher, you can apply for this, and it's kind of like Dakota Build for the CTE type things. If you agree to work here one more year, then they pay for, so 5 years, they'll pay your full tuition. So those are a couple of really good scholarships that are tied to ACT. And then we have little, a lot of these schools have grids that show you what a different GPAs and ACT scores will give you. So I want to have this there so parents and students can look at this together, see what they can get the most, with their grades and their ACT, where they can get the most money. Some of them give it, you have to be careful, some of them give it in 1 year, like this from STSU, and some give it in 4 years, like this is what you get over the 4 years, and it's renewable, so you gotta make sure, they gotta make sure they're comparing apples to apples. So anyways, I think it's really cool having that all there. We also have it for the private universities in Sioux Falls. Now, Augustana, I think, might be the only one that has the grid. A lot of these, it's like they don't post like a grid. Some of these private schools don't, but they just say they consider your academic scores and stuff. And then the last part, the ACT prep resources, that's primarily for the kids. And the first part stuff from the ACT website, but when I was putting this all together, I realized it's kind of, I didn't even know before that you can get fee waivers as long as you qualify for free and reduced lunch. They'll give you a fee waiver, plus they'll give you a free ACT prep professional program from Kaplan, like other people would have to pay for. And they'll give you a free ACT My Answer Key after you're done, so you can see what you got wrong and work on your own deficiencies. I put lots of resources on here. These are videos for kids who learn well from videos. This is an ACT prep program. It's not as good as Methodized, which I'm going to spend more time talking about. These are some videos I made when I used to work at the county library, and these are just some helpful free resources. Like if you go to one of those, it may be a math cheat sheet, so you can study up on this right before you go in to take your test. So, and then some people learn best by books, so these are the books I recommend, and those are links to where they can buy them on Amazon. So that's a lot of the resources we have, but this is the one, Methodized, is through South Dakota My Life, and that's the one that the South Dakota Department of Ed is paying for, and they really want teachers to use it, and they want students to use it. These are the lessons. It's self-paced. It has a bunch of quizzes after every unit. It has quizzes. It has practice tests on there, and kids can just go in, and if they're struggling with functions or quadratics or whatever, they can go watch that particular lesson. The teachers I've got instructions under their resources on how to set up classes, and they can assign things to do in there and stuff, and then they can see how the kids are doing on it. So they said that kids' scores go up by an average of 3 points that use this. And really, I've been in there monkeying around, and it's the best ACT prep thing I've seen I've seen the ones that the state libraries provided before, and I didn't really like them. But this one doesn't just tell you how to do skills. It tells you a lot of the strategy. And when I'm looking at like the 10th graders ACT scores from last year, you can tell on the science, they ran out of time because a bunch of them left some of the last ones blank or got them wrong because they just had to guess. So they're not using their time as wisely as they could. And it tells you strategies, like sometimes in the ones that are full of just charts and graphs to go straight to the question. So anyways, this is a really good course. And if I could get the teachers and students using it, I think that it would really help their scores. So I'm glad the state's paying for that. It's probably one of those things that costs quite a bit, and if we don't use it, we'll lose it. So we have to really get the word out and get them to use it. That's all I have, I think. There. Do you have any questions?
This is really good data.
Yeah, I
This
love
is
data.
just
I love
one
having
big
this data where we can go see what they're missing. It just gets me excited.
It's really awesome.
Dorsey and I do have a question. So in here, it talks about, the different grades. Is that of this fall?
That
or
was last spring.
Spring of
So
that, okay.
it was ninth graders last year who were this year's
So-
10th graders. And then
okay.
our 10th grade, that's the ones that'll be actually taking the state test this year is the 10th grade scores.
Okay.
So that's the pre-ACT. The ACT, we can look in there and see their scores, but we can't get all this breakdown of things for that. That's what we're paying for the pre-ACT package. It also gives these, the teachers could use these, it has all these standards and it tells you like what standards you need to master to meet the benchmark and then what you need to furthermore master to get different scores and stuff. And then it has this planning, you can look at those standards and see what grade you're teaching them in and stuff. It's a good thing to use in their PLCs to see if, make sure we're covering the material that the ACT is testing, that they think makes kids college and career ready. Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but first of all, I'd just like to thank Roseanne for bringing this information forward. And I also want to thank her for all the work she's done in working on that website. It's a great resource for not only our students, but also for our parents to be able to help their children out and preparing. One of the things I would mention in my report, you'll notice that this came from the South Dakota Department of Education, is that ACT testing in the future, it is aligned with South Dakota content standards. I think one of the things that our elementary schools do so well is that when they look at their content standards and they do their benchmark testing, they continually look at different interventions to help our kids out in the ELAs, the maths, the sciences, whatever it might be. I think that's one of the things that has happened as we look at middle schools and high schools, that we become very content orientated, right? So basically we're looking at, let's put this in front of kids, let's give them a grade, let's move on, right? And that's how we kind of separate them. I really believe from everything that Doris-Ann shared, that this is going to give our high school, middle school folks an opportunity to look at where each kid is at individually and give them that assistance that they need based on data like what was presented today. Now, the challenge will be, honestly, as the principals know, it's finding the time, right? Finding the time to be able to teach to every student's learning inventory going forward and making sure that we're seeing that growth for each kid, even when they're in high school, right? So appreciate it. Thank you.
And we are surveying the juniors right now to see when we can offer optional ACT prep that's outside of class time for the ones that want to really focus on getting a high score. Trying to see if they want to do it Friday mornings or Wildcat time or when works best for everybody. So we'll try to give them the support they need if they want it. And it is interesting at the elementary school, the same issue of not understanding the X and Y and the independent and dependent. We talk more over there, like the tech lady helping them with their science projects. We're like, the kids aren't knowing where to put where to put the X, what to put on the X axis, what to put on the Y axis. So we're realizing we need to start talking about that. And, she's going to touch on it in the library. We can get nonfiction books and talk about, when we look at ones with charts and stuff. And just if everybody's talking about it, they'll get it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As a reminder for the school board, remember, you guys are the ones that determine if something's elective or required. There's getting to be a lot more school districts across South Dakota that are making it a requirement for pre-ACT courses being taken. So just something to toss at you, think about a little bit. Am I still up? They're always up, so. Where are we at here?
Thank you, Doris Ann, for your presentation, your data. That's great to hear.
Thank you.
And we will move on to 10.3, middle school activities update.
Okay, one of the things that I mentioned in my report as well as just on the board docs is that Mr. Jars has brought forward a proposal for you to give consideration to hiring an additional middle school basketball coach, boys basketball coach. I believe in the proposal it said that we are at 36 kids at this time. I know that last year, it's my understanding that we were at 30 kids and the board approved an additional coach last year. So discussion now.
The money is in the budget already.
It is in the budget.
Yes.
I'll make
for
a
one.
motion to hire a third coach.
I'll second it.
Well, but temporary 1 year only.
Yes.
Okay, we'll reevaluate it.
And that's actually how it is listed.
Right.
Sarah.
It already is in the budget. When I say this, it seems like this comes up year after year after year for a sport, sometimes two. So we've always put 1 to 2, 3,000 in there just for that, just in case.
So we have a motion and a second to hire a second middle school coach in Custer. The Hermosa numbers.
I don't think we need one, do we? We don't.
Thank you, Frosty.
We need more players.
No, we don't.
Oh, just want to double check before we vote.
Second, it's a third coach, right? Yeah.
Did I
This will
say
be-
second?
Yeah, he said second.
I meant to say additional.
Are they just starting their season?
Yeah,
Yes.
Start right after we come back from Christmas.
Yeah. Their
So we
first
have a
game's
motion and a
Thursday.
Yeah,
second on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Move on to 10.4.
So may I?
After.
Yep, right after. The other thing,
Tim has something to say.
yeah, sorry. The other thing I just want to make sure we're looking at is if you look at our middle school activities, and I think you guys have done a great job, Jenny, and the participants have shared stuff with me about hiring additional coaches and stuff, but the other thing I really want us to look at, and Skylar has done some research on it, and this actually goes back to our talking about our policies and going forward with them, but it's also looking at our uniform rotation for our middle school kids. We no longer live in a time period where we take the varsity basketball uniforms. Remember, when we order varsity uniforms today, we order them like oversized shorts, right? Oversized tops. And we have our kids playing them for how many ever years by the cycle, if it's a 5-year cycle. And then we want to hand them down to our little kids, our young kids. Well, use your imagination, think about what that looks like on a junior high girl, right? The other thing, not just the top, but also the bottoms. But I do want, going to some of our middle school games, I think it's important that we start looking at the uniforms our kids are wearing. I think we need to have that be part of our uniform cycle going forward. And whether that becomes a capital outlay expenditure, or if it's potentially down the line, something that we look at again with a foundation that helps, whether it be paying for certain things within the fine arts activities, certain things in the athletic activities, that you guys know how we're going to do it and you can trust that it's going to get done. So we don't have parents, again, coming up to you guys and saying, why are our kids wearing these uniforms that look like they look, right? So with that being said, we do not have any dollars right now in the budget for uniform, but we are planning for 26, 27, and looking at the uniform budget, we will be looking at girls' basketball uniforms for middle school as well as the middle school boys' basketball. And then also, I believe, I wish Skylar was here, I think our football uniforms at the high school level. So, discussion on any of this?
Just one. When we get that rotation, we just need to make sure that we include the Hermosa kids in with that uniform
Absolutely.
rotation.
When did we last do the boys? 4 years ago?
Yeah, probably.
Wasn't it like your first year you were here, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I'd have to ask Becky and Casey on that.
Yeah,
They usually do it.
so I mean, we done them not too long ago, but I know time goes by and they get wore quick, but.
Yeah, and Becky was always good. She always collected them every game and washed them, but
Right, and I don't know when we done the girls, I just,
yeah.
so.
I'll ask, I know.
Actually, it might have been closer to 6, because I think Trevor might have been there that year, yeah. That first year we done them, might have been 4.
He was wearing the girls' jerseys.
What?
He was wearing the girls' jerseys.
Cross sir.
Okay.
You done there?
I'm
Let's
done.
move on.
Yep.
Okay.
You said-
10.4 grant information. You has been working with CTE teachers.
Yes, just real quickly, a little bit about the grant applications. The Perkins grant application is out. Eve has been working with the CTE teachers, as I stated, they're working on some things with digital imaging and photography. The other one I wanted to mention, and I do want everyone to know this, is Eve has been really good about getting this information to me. This community impact grant, as I said in my report, this is one that we are presently receiving. It helps actually pay for the salary of the person that's working on this school-based substance prevention. So I just told her, because it had a deadline of December 31st, I said, go forward with it because it's one you guys have already approved in the past. And so there will be some grants like that time-wise that will move forward. The other thing I just want to mention is that the 21st Century Grant application is open. I've received notification that our school district is eligible for it, but we're going to look at it very carefully. What we probably will do is issue a letter of intent to apply. Because you issue a letter of intent to apply, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to. You just have to let the Department of Education know that first of all, okay? But then we need to look at, in our local area, how many school districts are presently receiving it. I'm guessing the Rapid City School District is getting it because of a very low, or I should say a high percentage of economically disadvantaged. Now, when they issue those grants, it is based off of the area. They can only have so many in each area. So that's something that we will be looking at. Another thing we'll be looking at is the 2026 Homeland Security Grant. It's frustrating, as I shared with some folks down at the Sheriff's Department today. It's frustrating that we cannot use those grant dollars for a human resource. It's got to be something like fencing or technology in your buildings, this and that. But the reality of it is the best resource for us would be having, again, a body. But we've got some emails in, and we'll continue to look at that. Eve and I will, as far as some grants to help us out with that position. So, okay.
Thank you. Should be anything to approve for the grant information agenda item. No, you haven't talked much tonight, but if you'd like to continue on with superintendent's report.
Sure. Just real quick, I'm going to talk on one thing I mentioned to the ladies today as they're getting ready to go to the FLISA or the Spring NAPIS conference is that it was sent out last week that the United States government, right, We have, again, potential for a close down at the end of January, but there's 3 bills that have gone through. They have support on both sides of the table, went through the House. So there's gonna be funding that's they're called the minibuses, are gonna go through. The problem that we have right now, money in education and money within impact aid is not part of any of those 3 bills. So this is one of the fears that we have had when they decided that they were going to shut down the U.S. Department of Education and move that department over into I think it's the Department of Interior or Health, whatever one it was. There is no funding for them. So we're going to have to watch that very carefully. We are okay this year with our 7002, but future funding, we're going to need to stay on top of that. So that's why we're sending people out there to deliver that message. The other thing I just want to mention, the legislative session is starting up. Tomorrow we have our state of the state address from the governor. There has been behind closed door meetings with the governor's folks, with his business right hand, left hand side. And there's still a little bit of talk about some of these dollars that are out there. I put them in our superintendent's report. So there's some potential there right now going forward. The one thing is, as I shared with you guys, and I will share it out with our parents groups that are coming to the strategic planning, because it's the messaging side of it. We really want to be clear when we talk to our legislators, local legislators, that means District 30. And then I will share with you guys all the folks that are on that education committee in Pierre, because when we talk to them, we want to have a very clear message on where this revenue can come from and why we need to be receiving it. Putting you on the spot, Terry, do you remember what we talked about with insurance increase?
Mm-hmm.
How much would it be for our district at a 10%, did we say?
About 140,000 if we incur the whole expense.
There's an example right there. So when they talk about 0% increase, you're really not 0% increase, you're going backwards. All right, that's like one of the messages that we have to make sure that we're getting out to our folks. Other than that, strategic planning Wednesday night at the CTE building. I want to thank Travis for coming to the one that's was in Hermosa. That was very beneficial. I will say this, that I would encourage you guys, if you come to it, remember we can't have more than
Three.
three, yeah. If you come there, I would encourage you to kind of do like what Travis did, where you're mingling with them, because this is one that's for the parents and for the patrons to hear their voices, right, and going forward. And I think it's opportunity for you guys to see what they all write down and help get that dialogue going across the tables, which I thought we had really good dialogue.
I think it was great. Touch back with some parents at wrestling practice when I was getting Camilla, they were all sitting around there and I just kind of wanted to see what their take was. And, I mean, it was good, obviously, but like anything else, great conversation, great thing. We'll see if anything comes to fruition, Larry, because I think we've been treading water for a long time and haven't seen headway. So, which I get that.
No, that's a good point, though, and it's something I think we talked about that at our administration meeting. It's at some point in time when you have these type of conversations, then people need to see, right? We can hear and hear, listen, hear, but then people have to see some of these actions come forward.
And I told them, parents, when we was just sitting there that night, at practice at the table, I said, I have seen progress. I said, so I would like you guys to keep your eyes open. I said, just be open to the suggestions and whatnot and come to the meetings. And I encouraged them. They said, well, it's always different on the other side. I said, I can sit in that meeting over there and they're gonna say it's always different on the other side. I said, so why don't you guys go to the next meeting in the CTE building? See what you find on the other side. Well, they didn't come over here. Well, I said, well, don't matter. Go over there. Just see what's there. You know, and see what's said. I said, so, anyway, it was, I mean, they were happy with what they heard.
And we appreciate them sharing.
Yep, so, but it was kind of neat to walk around to the tables and just see what each group wrote. And you could tell, well, yep, that's the teacher group. Nope, that's that. But yeah, it was good.
What time is that meeting, Tim?
6:30.
6:30. Toby, I'll coordinate that with you, which room, so. Thank you.
But, and I'll tell you what really opened their eyes though, Kim, was how knowledgeable you were with school finance. None of them had ever, I mean, they did it, not that night, but the night, Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was, I got Camilla from school there, or Thursday or Friday, whatever it was. But anyway, they said, we have never seen anybody present school finance like that before. So, and they were happy with that, to finally maybe able to understand it a little bit. It might have been the first time they took 5 minutes to listen to anybody either.
That's right.
So. Okay, anything else?
I think I'm good.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Move on to administrators report. We'll start with Kevin.
Just busy here with the high school, helping teachers get moved into the building, new classrooms, setting stuff up, shipping off work orders, same old stuff, looking at low wind damage. Coming up with projects for next year. Just keep them busy. You know, had a good break and got quite a bit done, so. But other than that, still on pretty good.
I do want to thank Kevin and his people, because there was a lot of things that they were doing throughout the Christmas break and making sure that the damages that happened were taken care of, so we didn't have something get even bigger than it was. So I appreciate that, Kevin. Thank you.
Questions for Kevin, board? Frosty?
Yeah, just getting back in the swing of things, our January calendar is pretty empty, which is kind of a breath of fresh air. It's just kids in the classroom and getting a lot of things done. But we have our Elders' Wisdom coming up next month, so we'll be honoring Joy Nagebauer with the 4th grade class and Don Knapp with the 5th grade class, so that should be good. Our 8th graders go on their ski trip Thursday. I don't know if there's any snow up there, or if it's just ice, but they tried to get me to go, and I said, I'm not gonna break my legs, so I'm not going on that 8th grade ski trip. Never skied in my life, so never, not once, I know, and I probably won't.
They have the money, Bill.
I might break my leg on that too.
Oh, that is.
Yeah. We set our soup and sweets day for March 19th, so I'm looking forward to that. And then last thing, if you ever see Tara or Steve, our custodians, they came in for the great Hermosa flood right before Christmas break, so they were there and cleaning up that mess from midnight to about 4 a.m. So to see them, tell them thanks, so they came at a drop of a hat to come help us out with that. So it was good. Appreciated that from them. Other than that, it's going good.
That's good. Toby?
We used our time, so we're good. We are blessed to have Doris in, though she's done a lot of ACT prep, and so we've been definitely using that expertise. So we'll use it again this Friday for our PLC meetings, and we'll keep using it so we can just continue to work on it. It's definitely a shift from smarter balanced ACT. So
yeah,
we do have 3 in the CDL class, so hopefully we get them through and pass, and we're going to go up to the county and check out their stuff and do a little pre-trip and then post-trip type stuff. Yeah, it's been kind of fun.
Hope we can find something that passes there.
Anyway, I'm done.
That's awesome. Thanks, Toby. Any questions for Toby? Dr. Ron Frederick?
So I have my board report. It's kind of lengthy. I didn't realize it was so windy this month, but, we do have our RDA meeting tomorrow morning at 7:15, so, Rusty will have to help me talk about the ACT. Whether that was done or not, but, we did come up with February 20th as our early childhood screening date. It's a day we have in service, so we're gonna really try to, publicize it ahead of time and, try to set up 4, dial screening booths for kids coming through. We're going to, screen all of the kids at Growing Roots as well. As far as our transition plan contract with Joe Howe from Black Hills Special Services, we did receive that $3,000 grant contract, and I did send that back on Friday. So I'll work with, or Lisa will work with Hill City and Hot Springs, transition to plan some activities for our older kids in high school. So that'll be that's pretty cool. And as far as where IDEA is going in the federal level, right now, the talk is that it's going to be part of the Department of Health, so we'll just kind of keep an eye on that and where that's going. And then just one other thing on the legislative update, the OHI funding is now, currently it's a level 1 funding disability, and they're proposing to move it to level 2 because some of the kids with mental health difficulties require more money to service them. The clinch is we're not gonna get more money, they're probably just gonna take money away from like the level 1 and put it in level 2, so. Yeah, just switch it around, different alignment. Otherwise, that's all I have, if you have any questions.
Any questions? Dr. Ron? Clay?
I just have one thing, the ACT testing is going to be March 17th through the 24th. And so we'll do pre-ACT and ACT in those dates. We're just kind of finalizing, making sure all the materials are ordered, everything's correct, accommodations are in place for kids. We're good to go.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Comments?
Thank you, guys.
Sounds great. Looks like we move on to Board of Education report, and next meeting is February 9th in Hermosa. So I guess we'll see you then. I have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion. Sure we're done.
Second.
Second. That's why I did it.
Any discussion? Keith? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And there's food up here, if anybody's hungry. And you out there? Dean Kurtz gave us food, some turkey, some ham. Please eat it.